For making KRTV your choice for news, it's been an eventful 24 hours in Great Falls.
A total of 3 shootings have been reported since yesterday afternoon, the most recent overnight. Very few details are known about this incident that was reported at 3 a.m. The Great Falls Police Department was called to investigate several reports of gunfire in the 700 block of 8th Avenue South. One witness who lives in the area tells us she was sleeping with the window open and heard 3 shots, a pause, and 3 more shots. Police did find multiple casings from a handgun in the street. There have been no reports of anyone injured or anything damaged. A suspect has not been identified. If you do know anything about the incident, you're asked to call the police department.
Following up on the 2 reported shootings from yesterday, William Scott Sutherland faces a charge of felony criminal endangerment after an incident off in the Fox Farm area Wednesday evening. According to court documents, Great Falls police officers were sent to 1419 Park Garden Road for a report of multiple gunshots. Court documents state Sutherland was at the home with other people and was upset about a relationship. He is said to have walked out the back door of the home and fired 12 rounds from a .45 caliber handgun into the air. Documents state he then left the home but came back a while later. That's when he was apprehended. Police note Sutherland shot the gun off in an area close to the Hilton Garden Inn, other homes, and the Marketplace shopping area.
And earlier in the day, Wednesday, Daniel James Erlandson was arrested. He's facing 3 counts of assault with a weapon and 1 count of felony criminal endangerment for alleged involvement in a shot fired in the Great Falls Housing Authority area around 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon. According to court documents, Great Falls police were called to Chowan Springs Loop for reports of shots fired. The complainant told officers Erlandson was upset for unknown reasons and was yelling at people who walked near his residence. Court documents state the complainant parked his car and walked to the home when Erlandson went inside the home and came out quickly with a handgun. He says he saw Erlandson point the gun at him and heard a bullet snap through the air nearby. When questioned about the incident, Erlandson said he wasn't trying to hurt anyone, but rather scare someone away. Now, Great Falls police do note there is no connection between the 3 shooting incidents.
Near Geyser this morning, a vehicle from Malmstrom Air Force Base ignites on Highway 87. The call came in around 10 this morning that a security forces vehicle was on fire near mile marker 27. There's no word yet on the cause of the fire, but thankfully there have been no reports of injuries. The vehicle fire also caused a small ground fire. Crews are currently working to extinguish the ground fire, and Highway 87 is shut down while traffic has been directed around the scene. Malmstrom officials say a 500-meter area has been established due to the presence of live ammunition in the vehicle. The explosive ordnance disposal team is on the scene to determine the scene's safety and the status of any remaining ammunition. Before Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom, National Guardsmen and women had to go it alone when coming back from overseas deployments.
Now, as deployments have increased, often to war-torn areas, more and more service members and their families need help in transitioning back to civilian life. Colonel Jeff Ireland of the Montana National Guard recognized that need, and without any help, the Guard led the way to get Montana service members the resources they needed in what's become the Yellow Ribbon Program. People across the country took notice, and Ireland was invited to speak about the program in Washington, D.C. Soon, Montana and Minnesota's programs were melded together to create the national program.
The Yellow Ribbon program primarily is designed to transition soldiers and families into deployment, during deployment, and post-deployment. So it really is a ramp up of the family and the service member in their absence.
Join us tonight at 10 as MTN's Marco DeMarco takes a look at the Yellow Ribbon Program and how it's changed the lives of service members and their families.
As the Montana legislature winds down the session and tries to settle on a state budget, the House endorses a bill that could provide $150 million in infrastructure projects. The House voted 70-30 in favor of Senate Bill 416. If likely revenue goals are met, the measure would authorize $100 million for local projects, including roads, water, and sewers. 40% of that would go to oil and gas counties. It would also fund renovations for MSU's Romney Hall, mental health facilities at Warm Springs, a veterans home in Butte, along with funds for a new heritage center in Helena.
And I think that a lot of us in this room can also agree that making an investment in the infrastructure for the future of Montana is important.
This is a pork barrel project bill. We have projects from all over the state. They're not the highest priorities projects.
Meanwhile, separately, a panel is continuing work on House Bill 2, the main funding bill for the state. Lawmakers said the panel agrees in including the state pay plan in that bill. The infrastructure bill needs one more House vote plus approval by the Senate. House Bill 2 could reach both floors tomorrow. As promised, the sunshine returned for us today, but it was cooler.
Time to get a check with meteorologist Mike Rollins. Mike, overall, not a bad day.
Not a bad day at all. We've seen a lot of sunshine out there, but some high clouds are starting to move into parts of our area. We'll take you to the gates of the mountains, courtesy of the U.S. Forest Service. You can even see some snow still there on the mountaintops. And as we look out into the Helena Valley, it looks hazy. That's because we're starting to notice the clouds rolling in. Today in Great Falls, yes, it was cooler, but it felt nice with the sunshine. And it is rather breezy. Temperatures still getting into the 60s for most locations. 63 now at the airport. Glasgow a little bit cooler, 59. And we've got temperatures again in the low to mid 60s for most locations. We have one storm system moving away, another approaching for the weekend. That's going to bring us some rain here. But once we get into next week, my big focus will be on a big warm-up. All signs pointing toward a big warm-up for us. Could see some of the warmest temperatures that we've seen so far this year. I'll detail that and show you when it rains in the next 3 days. Coming up in Storm Tracker weather.
All right, so certainly looking forward to that. But of course, a pestering part of this warmer weather is starting to make an appearance.
Mosquito season is fast approaching. However, with the lack of rain this year, standing water has not been a large problem for the Department of Public Works. Standing water is the main contributor to a mosquito increase, as this is where they lay their eggs. Although there is less stagnant water in the region than in previous years due to the lack of rainfall, the Cascade County Weed and Mosquito Division is already treating areas of risk with biological pesticides to ensure they have a handle on the inevitable season ahead.
Because we haven't got much precipitation and river levels are fairly low right now, it's really not a big problem, but we get a few inches of precipitation or the river levels come up and we can definitely see some mosquitoes popping here in a few weeks.
Treatment of standing water will be administered periodically throughout the summer months to combat insect development.